I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here. But then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And yes, I did check again today, and it is still live free or die. It is Tuesday, June the 2nd, in the year of our Lord 2015, as we really start to roll on and roll into the week here at the Rod Eccles Show. And I want to thank you for tuning in and listening and being here. The number that you can call this evening, should you wish to do so, is toll-free 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. Now, I know everybody's all a Twitter and all a buzz about Bruce Caitlyn Jenner. And I'm really not into talking about such things, but I notice that, a lot of people are. And, I've had some people ask me, well, what do I think about it? Well, this is what I think about. There is an arrest made in the case of Caitlyn. And for those of you who don't know, this Caitlyn is a canine from Charleston, South Carolina. Police in Charleston have arrested the person they said is responsible for taping Caitlyn the dog's mouth shut. Now, I'm sure you have probably seen, if you've been online, you can't get away from seeing the pictures of this poor, wonderful, cute dog. I think it's a chocolate lab, with its muzzle duct taped, tightly taped shut. And it's horrific. And in order to get it off, it hard to hurt, do some damage to the poor dog. And the dog's name is Caitlyn, by the way, spelled exactly the same way as Bruce Jenner is spelling his new name of Caitlyn. Caitlyn. Now you're probably thinking, Rod, are you comparing the two Caitlyns? Actually, I am. Because, look, I'm seeing all this stuff about, how brave Bruce Jenner is and how courageous. Look, what's brave and courageous? Our men and women of the armed services. Our first responders, the thin blue line and the thin red line out there, those are the courageous people. This isn't this is basic debauchery. No. Yes, I said debauchery. Look, I'm sorry. You can do whatever you want to your shell, to your body shell. Proper. Bruce Jenner, he can fine, change his name if he wants. I am not going to call him a her because he's not. He's not. Look, there is no possible way for anybody to win the argument with me on this one. What does his DNA still say? Says that he's still male. You can chop off the male member on the outside, but what do his insides say? They say he's still male. He can put on a wig or grow his hair, put on makeup, lipstick on a pig type of thing. Still a pig. You can put window dressing on the body. Still a man. And, I'm not going to fall into this notion that this is so courageous. Look, folks, this is ridiculous that we are paying so much attention to this guy when we've got so many other things going on. I mean, look, fine. He can go ahead and live his life the way he wants to. But let me tell you something. You are going to start to see just like you had the radical gay agenda, you're going to start to see this transgender agenda. Now, look, if you want to live your life that way, that's fine. But you're less than 1% of the population. Let's just say you're 1%. Here is the 99%. Occupy Wall Street always talked about the 99%. Well, the 99% in this case are being forced to accept and live the way the 1% wants them to live. Plain and simple. We are the 99%, those of us who are not transgender and who are not going through some sort of, there are people who are making the comparisons between Caitlyn Jenner and Jessica Lange. Now, I happen to like Jessica Lange as an actress. Now, her liberal politics are something else. I happen to like her as an actress. And, the poor, she's, 65, 66 years old. She had, people were actually starting to ask her about, hey, did you see the Caitlyn Jenner Vanity Fair photo shoot? And people are comparing her to you. And she didn't know. She didn't know. She doesn't even know what, I guess she didn't even really know what tweeting and Twitter were. I find that hard to believe, but especially with her being so famous and being in Hollywood. But again, her age, not that she's ancient. She's only, what is she here? Daily Beast puts her, Jessica Lange, at the age of 66 and Caitlyn Jenner at 65. So they're the same age, basically. So the Daily Beast was speaking to Jessica Lange about an unrelated story, informed the actress that she was trending on Twitter because people were comparing her to Caitlyn Jenner. Now, she's like, really? That's so wonderful. Well, now I'm going to have to look for that picture. But writer Kevin Fallon still had to explain to Lange exactly what trending on Twitter means. And Lange didn't really understand that. And that's fine I'm not, disparaging Jessica Lange for not, kudos to her for not really knowing and being able to live her life today without being on Twitter. Kudos to Jessica Lange without being, a part of all the social media rot gut that's going on out there. Good for her. She's staying away from that. Glad to hear it. But this whole notion, I mean, I have seen the Vanity Fair picture because people are going to say, well, did you see the picture, Rod? Did you see the picture? I mean, he looks beautiful, doesn't he? You know what? I'm sorry, I can't get past the fact that that's Bruce. Yeah, there's a little. Well, look, Back in the 90s when I saw Bruce Jenner, I think he had plastic surgery on his face. And I just thought, wow, he's not aging well. He looks like an ugly old woman. That's the first thing that came to mind. Well, now I know why. But at first, I didn't even think it was him. Still not 100% sure. But okay, they're telling me it is. Fine. But look, how long does it take to heal for all this stuff? Because, if you're looking at, I realize there's makeup and all that kind of stuff that can be done, but the facial structure and skin tone is not the same as it was when he was Bruce. And it's only been two months or so, right? Look, they had the photo shoot didn't happen yesterday. That stuff has to take place, at least a few weeks in advance so they can set it up and make sure everything is good and it can go to the, be outlined and put in place and then go to the printer. It's not something that you do over, it's not like a newspaper. Vanity Fair is a glossy, glitzy magazine. It takes planning. So this whole notion that he's just being so... Look, there is a guy... a guy by the name of Dr. Paul R. McHugh from Johns Hopkins University, Johns Hopkins Medicine. And now I guess this is something that's resurfacing. He actually did a study. Dr. Paul, and this is a CNSnews.com story with, by the way, nearly 50,000 shares. Dr. Paul R. McHugh, the former psychiatrist in chief for Johns Hopkins Hospital and its current distinguished service professor of psychiatry, said that transgenderism is a mental disorder that merits treatment, that sex change is biologically impossible, and that people who promote sexual reassignment surgery are collaborating with and promoting a mental disorder. Now, Dr. McHugh is the author of 6 books and at least 125 peer-reviewed medical articles. He made his remarks in a recent commentary in the Wall Street Journal where he explained that transgender surgery is not the solution for people who suffer a disorder of assumption, the notion that their maleness or femaleness is different than what nature assigned to them biologically. But for the most part, I'm going to fall in line with Dr. Paul McHugh. Yes, there are people who do have certain disorders that were, they're born with both genes. That's a different story. Because when it comes right down to it, it comes down to what's in your head. And this is going to lead to all kinds of things, folks. I'm telling you right now, don't doubt me. They're going to try to open the door for all kinds of things that you and I just don't like. Even, for the most part, the mainstream in the left, those who are not in the radical movement, they're not going to really like this stuff or what's coming down the pike. They're not going to like it. They're going to resist it, and they're going to be on the receiving end of all this. Well, you're just a hater. You're a excuse me. By the way, now I saw a picture of speaking. Because I'm not done with this Jessica Lange story yet, but it just came to mind that there is a picture online. And I can't remember where it was I saw it, but it's a picture of ISIL, doesn't matter who. And there's a bunch of Islamists, a huge crowd. And when I say huge, I mean, it's probably, it's definitely more than 100. It could be a few hundred in the crowd. And they are dangling a gay man by his feet off of a high-rise building in the Middle East. And then what happens later, well, not too much later, is that they end up throwing this homosexual man off the roof of this building to the whoops and hollers and chants and cheers from the crowd below. This is not the first time they've done this. And yet, as I look across a lot of social media, I see gays, the LGBT community, pounding and hating on Christianity. And to a certain degree, Judaism. But really pounding on Christians. Now, Christians do not advocate and do not hang gays from buildings and then throw them off the roof. But we're supposed to, these is this some sort of new or twisted Stockholm syndrome type of thing, where those who are being oppressed really want to promote and engender and endear themselves to their oppressor. But in this case, it's not it's not like slavery where blacks sort of endeared themselves to their slave masters. No. This is different because, Islamists, they don't want to keep infidels and gays as slaves. They want your head. They want you dead. So there's something different going on here. I cannot understand how they can be so supportive of a religion that basically says in its religious text that you must die. If you're a homosexual, you need to explain to me why you are so in favor of Islam, especially in the United States of America, when their religious text says, point blank, you must die. You cannot live. Your life is an affront to them. Plain and simple. I'm just really getting really tired. It's more than just frustration. I'm getting really tired. And I pretty much lose it pretty easily now in liberals when they start bringing out all this BS about haterism and hate this and hate that and people hate these people. Let me tell you something. You guys, either you fully support what Islam is doing, and if you do, you're an idiot, or you have no clue what Islam is about. And I think it's a little bit of both. And it's not naivete, it's just stupidity. Because you have been told and told and told and told and told what these people are about. What they want to do to each and every American. Each and every West. What they want. Look, what is the, there's about 1.5 or so billion to 2 billion Muslims across the world. You know what? They really want to have a caliphate that simply wipes out every single non-believer on the planet. They want an Islamic world. Plain and simple. There is no room for you. Especially if you're, if you are one of those who deviates. There is the last episode of Game of Thrones actually touched on this. And I know some people are saying, with the birds, they're this faith in the capital city, King's Landing. And that now that the Queen Mother has relaunched this church and this faith policing group, if you will, it really become more powerful than the king. And they're deciding that certain things, in their text are just not allowed. Now, I know some people are thinking, well, that's just Christianity. But no. And it's going to be Christianity of the, the Inquisition era. But I'm telling you, no. It's not of Christianity. It's not of the Inquisition era. This is a direct view of Islam. The only thing they're not doing yet is just beheading people. But look, when you throw the Queen and the Queen Mother in jail for religious law violations, and the king can't do anything without going to war, that's not about Christianity. Because let me tell you, kings in the Christian day, Catholic Church and in the Inquisition, oh yeah, kings broke away from the church all the time. But here we have this sort of revealing information about, it doesn't matter who you are. This priest is going to go after you. So it doesn't matter who you are, who you think you are, on the left. You're going to be the first people that Islamists go after. And we can see what they're doing over there in the Middle East. They're throwing people that you revere off the roof of tall buildings. What do you think they would do to Bruce Jenner if they got a hold of him? Think they'd say that he's brave and courageous and for taking a picture of himself, as a transgender? No, it would be evidence of his folly, of his sinfulness, of his debauchery, and he must be eliminated. Now, I do not believe such a thing. I believe the man needs mental help. I believe he does. I don't know what has gone on personally in his life. Not even going to pretend I know. But, hey, married to the Kardashians, you can kind of get a sense of what's going on there. But, the guy needs help. But understand that if this were to come about and we were to get Sharia, any part of this country was to get Sharia laws, hey, let's face it, at least even though he might, in this country, they might not be able to commit Bruce and other people in a death sentence, but guaranteed they'd lock you up. No different from the Nazis. The pink triangle. You had the yellow star, David, and you had the pink triangle. And people forget that the Nazis also locked up homosexuals. The Nazis were not Christians, by the way. They were not. They, just like communism, and again, communism doesn't like homosexuality. Look at Russia and China. Not religious at all. But yet, you people out there, you seem to think that as Christians and people of Judeo-Christian ethics are the ones who are responsible. Look, they're not killing people. Not like this. They're not beheading people based on their faith, and they're not throwing people off the buildings because of who they want to love and share a bed with. But yet you leftists out there, you want to support these kinds of people. And these people actually hate you. They can't stand the sight of you and being in the same room with you. Or they can't even stand being on the same planet with you, which is why they have to cleanse you from this planet. And they're not into science, so they're not going to try to find a way to build a rocket ship and allow you to live on the moon or Mars or some other planet. Nope, they're just going to wipe you out. You better understand it. You better come around. You better stop fighting the people and calling the people who actually do care about you the haters. You better stop it. Because if you get rid of the Christians and the people that actually would care about you, you're going to be alone against them. And let me tell you, you cannot win against them. Not by yourself.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend Plan. Because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Dr. McHugh went on to say he reported on a new study showing that the suicide rate among transgendered people who had reassignment surgery, these are not pre-op, these are post-op people. Now, these are the people that said, yeah, I definitely, they were born male, I definitely want to be a female, and they were born female, I definitely want to be a male. A new study showing that the suicide rate among transgendered people that had reassignment surgery is 20 times higher than the suicide rate among non-transgender people. Now, Dr. McHugh further noted studies from Vanderbilt University and London's Portman Clinic of Children who had expressed transgender feelings, but for whom over time 70 to 80% spontaneously lost those feelings. He says, while the Obama administration, Hollywood, and major media such as Time magazine promote transgenderism as normal, these policymakers and the media are doing no favors either to the public or the transgendered by treating their confusions as a right in need of defending rather than a mental disorder that deserves understanding, treatment, and prevention. And indeed, he was talking about a Time magazine cover story back from June 9th of 2014, the transgender tipping point, America's next civil rights frontier. Now, folks, I'm telling you, this is dangerous stuff. And this all comes about because of the radical gay agenda. Now look, there is no real love lost in when you're dealing with in the gay community between regular gays and transgender. There is none. For whatever reason, and some guys, be they gay or straight, they like to see men dressed up as women. They call them trannies or what have you. Milton Berle was famous for putting on a dress and entertaining the troops and things like that. And that's one thing. But some of these people, they go out of their way to try to be feminine. And you've heard more than a few stories about a supposedly straight male unknowingly picking up a tranny, because some of them do look really feminine. They dress up and put the makeup on, and it's very difficult to tell until you take off the pants or the dress. No, because some of them they get breast augmentation. That's part of modern medical plastic surgery. Those things look very natural. So everything from the pretty much, especially if they're wearing a dress or something, everything from the waist up looks pretty normal and PHAT, pretty hot and tempting. And then they get going and they get in the hot and in the throes and everything is, all the hormones are racing and running. And the next thing you know, the straight guy notices a bulge down below the waistline. That's not usually a good time to find out that your girl is a guy. And I'm not saying it gives them a right to do what a lot of guys have done in that particular case, and that's, literally beat the crap and sometimes even murder these people. Nobody has the right to do that. But understand this, as I said earlier, if that were the case and that guy was Muslim, he would have no remorse and no problem with, sending you on your trip off of this earth. Because look, they do it in public now anyway. They throw people off of high-rise buildings. They hang them, behead them in public display and ceremony. They don't promote this kind of stuff. I find it interesting that, when Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the former president of Iran, was here in the United States visiting the UN, and he was also, invited to speak at a few events and college campus. And his response was, you here in the U.S., and he was very clear about it. You here in the U.S., you have this gay problem. That's what he called it, a gay problem. And he said, we don't have this problem in Iran. And the students in the audience, they kind of giggled and chuckled, and Mahmoud picked up on it and said, well, really? Do you know some gay people in Iran? Where are they? Look, he was serious. They don't have... Look, they run around... And they will hang, even if you're a teenager suspected of sodomy. They will hang you. So when he says they don't have this problem in Iran, he was serious. ISIS is saying, we are not going to have this problem, quote unquote, in this Islamic State. They are deadly serious. They're throwing people off of high-rise buildings with whom they suspect being homosexual. And yet in this country, we've got a nation of such idiotic and stupid people that they will go out of their way to disparage and try to destroy people who would, in their right minds, defend them against those who would really want to do them harm. Behead, hang, chop up, shoot, throw from buildings. And yet we're going to focus on whether or not, or how, Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, how he looks like Jessica Lange in Jessica's earlier days. That's not, to me, that's not beauty. Because it's all fake. It's all fake. It's not natural. Naturally, he's a guy. Naturally, that is not natural beauty. Yes, Jessica Lange is old, 66, and getting older, but she was a natural beauty in her, in her youthful day. She's still not hard on the eyes. She's just an older woman. But she was a natural beauty. She was a very pretty woman back in the early days of her career. She was natural. She was born that way. Bruce Jenner was not. So I don't know how courageous it is to put somebody up on a pedestal who decides that they're going to remake themselves with a surgeon's knife. And then with Photoshop and photo editing and makeup. That's not bravery, because it's not natural. And I know I'm probably going to take some heat for this, but it has to be, this kind of stuff has to be said, because it is, and I'm going to say it is ruining, it is helping to ruin our nation in a number of ways. One, it is taking the most minute of minorities and demanding that the vast everyday majority lives the way that minute minority wants them to live. That was not the intent of the Constitution or the Founding Fathers. They didn't want the majority to run roughshod over the minority, but they did not want that minority, especially the very small, tiny minority, to rule the majority. And this is what we're getting today. We're also starting to accept other things as being natural. You know, we're slowly moving towards, the Sodom and Gomorrah, the ancient Rome, ancient Greece days. You know, we're starting to hear rumblings of, well, you know what? Now that we got gay marriage in so many places in the Supreme Court, they'll probably just say, it's constitutional right for gays to be able to get married. So we're going to redefine the term marriage as being, between a man and a woman, a man and a man, and a woman and a woman. Now, you're going to see it if the Supreme Court says that that's the new definition of marriage. You're going to see, polygamy be brought back up. And look, how can you deny them? They're nothing but a bunch of adults getting together, willingly wanting to share their love. They can't help who they love. How can we as a society, say that a man and a man, a woman and a woman, and a man and a woman can love each other, but a man and a woman, or a man and a man and a woman, or maybe, a man and a woman and a woman and a woman and a woman and a man can't all get married? Why not? We can't tell them how to live. Hey, we got to have special bathrooms now for transgender. We got to allow them to be who they think they are, and they should. If you're a guy but you're a transgendered woman, you have the right to use the woman's lavatory, and if you're a woman but you're a transgendered male now, you have the right to use the men's lavatory without being told you can't. You should be able to get married and have kids and adopt kids and all that kind of stuff. So what is to say, and you've always used the term, you can't help who you love. Well, that's exactly the argument that they're starting to use for these other alternative lifestyles. I don't know, pansexual or polysexual, I guess, when you love a bunch of people at the same time. Or is it polyamorous? You can't keep up with the terms. They keep changing them all the time. And who's to say, look, NAMBLA, the Man-Boy Love Association, is back, people. Remember back in the day when it was just so disgusting that when it was found out that they had a website, people were looking for who was hosting the website. And that website, the web host, the ISP provider, kicked them off. They couldn't find anybody anywhere on the planet almost to host their site. They were down and out, and we thought, oh yeah, they're done. They're reserved to the back alleys, back rooms, and and hiding. And the cops are going to catch them if they try to trade pictures of little naked boys all the time. It's going to be child pornography. They're going to be caught and sent to prison. But they're back because they're saying the same thing. Look, hey, at one point, it was quite all right for a grown man to have sexual relations with a teenage boy. And now, look, we've got same-sex marriage now. We got transgender rights now. And people over here who want to have 5 wives. They're starting to say, well, why can't I have 5 wives? We change the definition of marriage. And if they're going to be able to change the definition of marriage to their vantage point, why can't we over here at NAMBLA? So look at how many teachers are nailing their teenage students. And male and female teachers. Well, it seems to be the past few years, it seems to be a rash of female teachers, just taking their advantage of their teenage male students. But hey, all this should be allowed, should it not? Where do you draw the line? Well, let me tell you, ISIL, Islam, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, they drew the line and said, oh, hell no. And they're saying either you conform to what we call the norm or you die. And yet you go halfway around the world and you come to the United States and the Christian says, well, we just believe it's a sin. And all kinds of hate erupts like a volcano upon them. And the Christian never says, well, you should die. And those people at Westboro Church, it says God hates fags, that kind of stuff. They're not Christian. That's just ridiculous. But when a real Christian says, well, it's a sin, they believe it to be a sin, and that you can change. And we know that there are ways that people have changed from doing this. And this doctor is telling us that certain parts of this lifestyle is a mental illness. It's a mental disturbance. And you've got ISIS who doesn't give a crap. You should just be dead, according to them, and be done with it. No more problem. No more problem, according to Ahmadinejad. We don't have this problem in Iran. Gay in Iran? Where do they live? So, and this is quickly becoming the case in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen. And do you think the Saudis put up with it? The Egyptians don't either. So you really got to ask yourself, how is this courageous coming out with Caitlyn Jenner? Why is that courageous? Why are we, why do I need to spend so much time on this when I was trying to avoid the subject altogether? Because we have, as a nation, we've become fixated on stuff that is unimportant, that is so minor, because the vocal few have decided that it's important to them. And now the entire country's attention is on Bruce Jenner and him being and looking like a woman. Instead of paying attention to what is going on in over there in the Middle East, like how about ISIS throwing homosexuals off of a roof? You want to be here in the USA and say that Christians are haters, but over there you have Islamists, Muslims killing people, beheading them, hanging them, dangling them from their feet off of a high-rise building and then just tossing them off. You want to be over here and talk about the Tsarnaev trial. Oh, we should spare his life. I can't tell you how many liberals over here are saying, we should spare his life. It's cruel and unusual punishment to give him the death penalty. We should have spared his life. They're not sparing anybody's life over there. I am convinced more than ever now. And I've heard it and I've been convinced before, but I am convinced more than ever now that liberalism is a mental disorder. It really is a mental disorder. Because how else do you explain you hate people who do not want to kill you, but embrace people who do? There is no other explanation for that. Absolutely none. People, I know they want to say, American left, they're just naive. No, nobody on this planet is that naive. You know the difference from people who just don't like you and don't want to be around you versus the people who do not like you and want you dead and will do everything they possibly can to make sure that outcome comes to fruition. There is no naivete And it goes beyond stupidity. It is a mental disorder that you would embrace those who want you dead. And not only do they want you dead, but in certain parts of the world, they're succeeding. Yes. They are succeeding big time. And yet you still want to embrace them. Yeah, they want to embrace you too. Embrace you, tie you up, and throw you off the top of a 10-story building. That's what they want to do. But you think that there's something salvageable there. Oh, they just misunderstand us, Rod. They just misunderstand, that's all. We can turn them around. You know, unlike those Christians, they'll never turn around. They'll always hate us. But the Muslims, they just don't fully understand yet. We just haven't had the chance to sit down and have a talk. We can talk this out because their religion is so accepting. You know, really it is. We can we can work it out. They want you dead. They want all of us dead. But they really want you, the LGBTI community. What the hell is intersexual? Why do we keep adding letters to, didn't it just used to be the LGB community, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and now then we got the T and the Q and the R and the what? Why do we keep adding letters? Can somebody explain? I don't know. I heard it the other day that there is now I know the LGBTQ. I don't know what queer is either. But it's there, LGBTQ, and now there's an I, LGBTQ. I can't even remember what is intersex. I don't know what it is. I don't. And you know what? I don't even care to really look it up because it's just so asinine. It's insane. The other three doesn't cover? Well, okay, so now you got people who want to dress up as, men who want to dress up as women. Okay, they're trannies now. I guess I can see adding the T. But all the others after that? I don't get. Hey, and of course, now we got the rumors about the heartthrob Brad Pitt with Angelina Jolie's blessing is bisexual. Look, it's I'm telling the world is flipping upside down. Some people, well, it's no different, Rod, from back in the day when people found out about Rock Hudson. Remember Rock Hudson? Rock Hudson, he was a handsome, debonair, dashing Hollywood star from back in the day. Now, I guess Errol Flynn was a little bent too, but to think Brad Pitt, I don't know if it's true or not. The rumors out there, and the rumor is out there that Angelina's is cool. She's cool with it. Brad can go around and punch buggy other guys, and that's not cheating in her book, I guess. I don't know. Look, whatever they want to do in their own bedroom or whatever, that's fine. But look, you got people out there who know about mental states. And, hey, the left is all about mental issues and stuff and needing drugs for it and everything and needing psychological help and counseling because they're always told, we don't have enough services for the mentally ill. Well, this highly, astute and respected mental health professional says that trannyism is a mental disorder. And when you look at what some of these people do in order to achieve what they think that they're becoming, you have to be a little bit burnt in the head. Because in the end, you're still a guy, not a girl. Or you're still a girl, not a guy. And ISIS is still going to be coming for your head, and they will bind you when they catch you and throw you off a 10-story building. And you're hating on Christians instead.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here. But then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven ultra-lipostick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on ultra-lipostick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using ultra-lipostick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra-lipostick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used ultra-lipostick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra-lipostick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra-lipostick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, there are people out there who are going to say that I'm a hater, that I'm far from the truth. I'm just a truth teller. And if you can't, if you don't like it, that just means you just can't accept the truth. And the truth is that if you believe that, Christians, true Christians are the enemy and not Muslims, you're an idiot, plain and simple. Hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Tuesday, June the 2nd, in the year of our Lord 2015, the second day of the week as we continue rolling along. The number here, if you wish to join me live during the second hour of the fastest 2 hours of Internet Talk Radio, is 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. California Senate. Now, California, they're in fiscal trouble out there, financial dire straits, and they're under this huge, drought. It's the end of the world as we know it in California. Drought. I don't know. Are they still protecting the smelt out there that they could be? So on top of the fact that they're in financial dire straits, they're in hydration dire straits. This is, threatening to fine people, possibly even at some point put them in jail if they use too much water. But they're going to invite more people into the state, and here's how. More people who are going to use resources that they don't have, meaning money and water and money. California Senate votes to let illegal immigrants get insurance under Obamacare. So now you Californians are going to be paying for illegals to get health care insurance. So they can go to the hospital run up a bill and make sure that the insurance carrier of their choice under Obamacare takes care of the whole thing. Why not? They want to give them, they want to give them driver's licenses and give them access to other stuff. We should be paying illegal immigrants, they should also be eligible for food stamps and for other welfare benefits and programs. So why not get insurance under Obamacare? The California Senate voted earlier today to allow unauthorized immigrants. Just say illegal immigrants to buy health insurance on a state exchange created under the Obamacare, a measure that would make the state the first to offer that kind of coverage. Now this is a Newsmax.com story, by the way. The Senate voted 28-11 in favor of the proposal, which still must be approved by the state assembly and signed by the governor, said Jessie Melgar, a spokesman for the bill's author, Senator Ricardo Lara. If the bill becomes law, California would become the first U.S. state to let unauthorized illegal immigrants access health insurance from its exchange, although a federal waiver would still be needed for that to happen. But the measure would not provide a subsidy for undocumented immigrants to buy health insurance, unlike U.S. citizens and legal residents who can qualify for such assistance based on their incomes. They're getting a subsidy anyway. They're not going to be paying the full boat. And then they're not going to be paying the full boat of the coverage that they're getting. So the insurance is going to pay for it, and then they'll just run up a bill. Yeah. We get the insurance now, and they pay for it for 2 or 3 months. Go to the doctor, run up a bill, and then they quickly run it back across the border. Everything's copacetic, right? Of course. And who gets to pick up the tab? We, the taxpayer. And if these people are illegal, that means that they're poor in the first place. How the hell are they going to be able to afford Obamacare insurance? They're not. They're not, folks. So then what's going to happen? Well, all these people, they sign up for Obamacare, but then they find out they can't afford it because, they don't have any money, which is why they're illegal. So we're going to have to do something about that. We just can't, we can't let them not have health insurance and health care. They've got to have health care. So we're going to have to provide some sort of subsidy for their health care. Which really literally means taxpayer funded. Oh, why not? Taxpayer can, pays for a lot. Why? What's the big deal? Why not just add another person? Not a big deal. You can do it. We all can do it, right? Just add another person. Onto the on everybody's tax roll, or just add another person to Obamacare. Taxpayer can fit the bill. Just add them all. Illegal. They don't have to be here legally. They broke the law getting here. Yeah, they probably broke a number of laws getting here. But then it's okay. Once they get here, we can pay for them, right? Yeah, because we're the United States. We're so rich. We have so much money. We can afford it. A House panel moves to block state funding over Benghazi emails. This is from thehill.com. House Republicans on Tuesday unveiled a spending bill that would withhold some funding for the State Department until officials cooperate with their investigation into the 2012 terrorist attacks in Benghazi, Libya. Did you know that's Libya? Libya. You know that's not Libya. Libya. You know that's the correct pronunciation. Libya. Now, the House Appropriations Committee's State and Foreign Operations Bill for Fiscal 2016 withholds 15% of State Department's operational funds until requirements related to proper management of Freedom of Information Act, the FOIA, and electronic communications are met, Republicans said in a statement. The bill makes good on a threat the House GOP had been considering earlier this month to use funding as a leverage to obtain documents related to Hillary Clinton's time as the nation's top diplomat. And this is this is a beautiful thing. This is one of the first times that I have seen that they have seriously decided to go ahead and try to use the power of the purse to get things done. This is a good now they just have to follow through, but this is a good sign. Yes, now the Republicans have to follow through. They can't be willy-nilly, wishy-washy and fall back and give in and be, they need to stand firm on this one. They really do. Now, this is how they can do a lot of different things. The power of the purse can be very powerful. You can stop a bunch of Obamacare. So, no, I actually stuff here. There's another story that's related to that. A power of the purse. Yep. House panel. Another House panel. Votes to repeal Obama's medical devices tax. Now, see, if this is a Washington Times story, but all you have to do is just use the power of the purse. Start. If you want to get rid of Obamacare, you start strangling the funding mechanism for it, and pretty soon it begins to wither up and die on the vine. Now, a powerful House committee approved a bill Tuesday to repeal Obamacare's medical device tax, a provision that's been criticized by members of both parties as a misguided way to pay for the health overhaul. Now, the Ways and Means Committee voted 25-14 to repeal the 2.3% excise on sales of pacemakers, artificial joints, and other devices with Representative Ron Kind of Wisconsin, the lone Democrat to support the bill. It's an iron law of economics that when you tax something, you get less of it. Now, so we've really got our wires crossed here. We want more medical devices. What we want less of is this bureaucratic meddling. So, hey, just toss on another two. It's kind of like here in the Granite State. It's a little bit funny. You want to offer something that's convenient that can also save this, the government some money. So if you go to register your vehicle in many towns around here, you can now, pay with your debit card or your credit card. Now, I can understand with a credit card, they're not set up for debit, enter your PIN, but the whole point is that either you pay cash, you pay check, or you pay with your card. Now, most folks don't pay with cash because in our state, we have something very weird. You can't call up your town hall and say, do you know what my registration fees are going to be for my car this year? They won't tell you. They'll say, well, we can't tell you that. You have to come in. Okay, so how much? How do I know how much money to bring? So you don't. So you end up writing a check. Well, it costs money to process a check. So if you want to use a card, then the state will charge you a convenience fee of 2.3%. What? You're going to charge me a convenience fee for saving you time and money. But this is, so you're going to get less of that. You're going to get less people using that, and they're going to use other things like the check. But here, they're saying, look, if you don't believe that taxing something gives you less of it, look at cigarettes, tobacco use. They're taxing the hell out of cigarettes and chewing tobacco, and what's happening? People are chewing less chewing tobacco and smoking fewer cigarettes. So people are quitting the tobacco habit, so much so that a lot of programs that used to be paid for by cigarette tax dollars now have to be paid for by other tax dollars because too many people quit smoking. Because the more you tax something, the less of it you're going to get. So if you're going to tax medical devices, are you going to get people who are going to be able to afford to use a pacemaker, or who's going to pay for that pacemaker? Well, it's the insurance company, right? So you tack on another, whatever a pacemaker costs, but you tack on another 2.3% to that, and what do you got? A more expensive pacemaker. Well, who pays for it? Well, the health insurance company is paying for it. And how do they get the money? Oh, through premiums. And so how are they going to get the money if they get it through premiums? They're going to raise premiums for the next when the next year comes. And what was the surprise? It's like 26%. Was it Blue Cross Blue Shield somewhere wants their rates to go up by 26% in 1 year? And look, people are being hammered with this Obamacare stuff. It really does need to be repealed. It needs to be repealed once and for all. It's costing the people of this country way too much. We were promised it was going to be cheaper. We were promised it was going to be better. We were promised we could keep our doctor. We were promised we could keep our hospital. We were promised all kinds of things. And what we got instead was a bunch of broken promises, more expensive premiums, higher deductibles, fewer doctors, fewer choices in doctors, fewer hospitals, fewer choices in hospitals. And now you got California that wants to offer Obamacare to illegal immigrants, who are then going to end up, footing the causing the people of California to foot the bill for them. Don't doubt me on that one. So it really is a law of economics. Now, Democrats on the panel, however, as usual, are crying foul, saying the GOP failed to come up with the $26 billion needed to replace the revenue. That's the whole point. You don't take away a tax like this. You're trying to defund the whole thing. So why the hell would the GOP come up with a way to replace the $26 billion needed to over a decade by scrapping the tax? Of course, that's the whole point. They're not coming up with a way to replace the $26 billion needed. Well, hey, Mr. Democrat, that's the point. The main point is, see, they missed the main point is not to get rid of the tax so people buy more pacemakers and more artificial joints. Taking away the tax is so we begin to starve Obamacare. Now, the Republicans had better get their backbone stiffened. They better take their stiff backbone medicine or whatever, or get some backbone inserts, or they better go to the chiropractor or the doctor and have their backbones fused together, because they're going to start to get hammered. Well, if you take away, see, this is why all the premiums are going up, because you're taking away all the tax money for this. Well, no, the premiums are going up anyway. Premiums are going up they're skyrocketing. And they weren't supposed to. Everything was supposed to go down, remember? Isn't that what we were promised? It's supposed to go down. And instead, the cost of this stuff is going up. Up. Yeah, and we don't seem to have an out or a choice. You gotta buy into it. You gotta buy, because it's, hey, it's only fair. That you pay for, if you have, you got to pay for those who have not. It's the only fair thing you do. Because otherwise, you're a selfish, evil, rich person. Even if you're not, and we see where this is going, it's gonna start. These higher premiums are gonna go to cover, because fewer people than expected are being covered or using the exchanges. So that's part of the problem. Another part is you're throwing more people onto the system that aren't paying their full boat, and then in California, their coverage costs are going to go up even more if they allow illegals to get insurance under Obamacare. Well, none of it really makes any sense, but it's the truth. It is what it is, folks, and it ain't what it ain't, and it's not what it probably should be, but there it is for you. You can't deny that this is what. Look, we've already had New York Senate basically say, well, yeah, we should have a single payer universal health care here in New York. That's the goal for the entire country, by the way. It isn't just for New York, and that would include, most likely allowing illegals to get some sort of coverage themselves, paid for by who? You and me, taxpayer. Absolutely, we'd foot the bill. That's the way it always works. We foot the bill. They get the services they want, and then they go about their business. Some of them actually go back home. Come here for the freebie stuff, and then they go back home. And they can repeat the cycle as much as they want because, we're not closing the borders on them. Wouldn't that be something? One day they actually get to the border, find the border closed to their illegal trespass, and now they have to stay on the other side and deal with, their own issues instead of making their issues of the American people. That would be fascinating to see. And I know I'm gonna get, you're just a heartless, cruel, cold person, Rod. No, I'm very compassionate. But look, we've got laws just like their country has laws, and the laws are there for a reason. They're there to protect everyone involved, not just the few. They're there to protect everyone, especially the citizens of that particular country. And in this case, that particular country is the United States of America. I have no problem with protecting our borders that way, just as I have no problem with any other country protecting their borders in their own way. They're free to do that. If Canada all of a sudden wanted to shut down the border between the United States, and that's their prerogative. Really, I don't. It's whatever they need to do for themselves in their country and their people. I'm down with it. I'm fine with it. But don't you sit south of my border and tell me how to run my country, and then you do something totally the opposite in your own country. I mean, I don't like hypocrites here, but I sure as hell am not going to be listening to a hypocrite across the border telling me how to run my country. So, Mexico, if you want to, if you want to encourage people to be illegal, then encourage the illegals to come to Mexico, not to the United States. Plain and simple. Because this is crazy. Why should we have to pay for them? We shouldn't have to pay for them. Not like this. And continue to pay. We can't afford to keep paying for these people. Look, and indeed, we're going to have to pay for all this stuff in the form of higher and higher and higher premiums and deductibles. We're already starting to taste the higher cost of this stuff, even after we were promised, oh, it's going to be much cheaper. Not.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up. with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
I mentioned something about TSA yesterday, but today, the TSA, there's a story out from the Washington Times. TSA bragged about gun seizure success rate ahead of a new failure report. Expert says 95% failure rate from day one. Yeah. They have to, take your clothing, right? Those scanner things takes pictures of you as if you were nude through your clothing. So this week's report that the TSA failed to, they failed because they said, this stuff, nobody's going to see your nude pictures from the TSA, right? And then they ended up being on the internet. This week's report that the TSA failed to spot 95% of contraband weapons snuck through in tests of airport screeners comes just a few months after the agency bragged about the good job it was doing in sniffing out guns and other weapons. More than 2,000 guns, an average of 6 a day, were discovered by Transportation Security Administration screeners in 2014. The agency said in a post declaring the seizures a great year. But the failure rate in the new classified report suggests that the rate of those that got through could be much higher. Now lawmakers in Capitol Hill are wondering why the agency was touting its success even as investigators were spotting holes. And we've been, we've heard about all these holes before, both at the gate, screening at the gate, and in the luggage department area. People putting stuff in their luggage that then gets put into the airplane's cargo hold or luggage hold. But look, we've already, the TSA. Look, we have to understand that millions of people get screened by them per day. Totally get it. But the problems that they have at the TSA and that have, that really do damage to personal liberty and personal privacy that happens on a daily basis is mind-boggling. And yet all of this contraband is still able to get through. Now, let me repeat that, folks. It's still able to get through. So what does that what does that say about you feeling safe in your air travel? Are they real? The TSA is yet to foil and catch a hijacking, an attempted they still haven't done it because they're not really originating from here, and grannies and nuns are really not the criminal, the terrorist. I mean, they're missing weapons and they're missing detecting weapons and missing detecting explosives, and that's one of the things you're supposed to be able to really sniff out, because you gotta, all your products that you have to have, like your shampoo and your liquid soap and and your toothpaste and stuff, they have to be in these tiny, tiny tubes. And these tiny, tiny tubes have to be in a plastic bag, clear plastic bag, and you've got to take it out of your bag and place it on top of your bag so the TSA agent can not only see them, but so it can be x-rayed going through. And, but they're still missing. How are they still missing stuff? I don't know how you're, by the way, as a side note that has nothing to do with, it might. Marijuana church is given a tax exempt status in Indiana. Now, my question is that if you're a member of the marijuana church, are you going to be able to get your marijuana on board, or will the TSA confiscate it? And then if they confiscate it, will it actually be confiscated, or will they be using it to self-medicate in the back rooms? Look, there are all kinds of crazy things that go on behind the scenes of any organization. And this is the truth. We know this. So to think that the TSA is not doing crazy things is really kind of naive. Now, ABC News reported Monday that investigators from the Homeland Security Inspector General's office had managed to sneak contraband material by TSA screeners in 67 of 70 tests they ran. 67 of 70. Now, for being harassed and harangued while going to the airport and being forced to take off your shoes and your belt, and being forced to stand with your hands up like your guns pointed at you inside these stupid, nudie radar picture takey thingies, you would assume that the failure rate would be a lot less than 95%. What are you going through all that stuff for? Why are you taking off your shoes and opening your laptop and turning it on? And why is your camera being scrutinized? And why do you have to put your toothpaste and shampoo into little tiny bottles and then put it in a baggie? And why do you gotta take off your belt and then go through this nude X-ray machine if they're still gonna miss 95%? It's all for nothing. Well, we're stopping that 5%, Rod. That's important. But basically, think about it. You go through all of those steps just to find out that somebody on the plane that you're getting on most likely got something through, even though they have no nefarious ambitions whatsoever. They most likely got something through that they shouldn't get through. They may have even forgotten that they had it or didn't realize that it shouldn't be something they shouldn't have. But they got something through on your flight. I just think about that. I know, Rod, you can't do that. You're going to make people feel uncomfortable and unsafe. Well, you know what? You got to hold people accountable and hold their feet to the fire. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then why are you paying them? And we're paying all these TSA, and these are not low-paying jobs at the TSA. And they're government jobs, for one, so they're, they got good bennies, and as they say, and that kind of thing. But they're not doing their job. If 95%, if they failed 95% of the time to detect nefarious stuff from getting through the process, that's not safety. Now, one could argue if it was flipped and said only 5% gets through, you could say, well, okay, that's a good ratio. We can improve on it. We need to get that number down to 1% or less because all it takes is 1, right? But where do you start when you're starting? It's one thing when you're at 5% and you want to go to 3% and then 1% and then 0. It's another thing when you're starting at 95%. And if you want to cut it in half, if you're at 5%, you want to cut it in half. It's 2.5%, right? If you're at 95%, Where you're at 47.5% is your cut in half, or still almost half of the nefarious stuff is going to get through. That's a goal. Now, the story continues. This news raises serious questions about the TSA's competence and could undermine their previous claims. Now, this past January, TSA bragged about stopping an average of 6 firearms a day last year, but now Americans aren't sure if that's a measure of success or a colossal failure. Well, if they can get, let's look at it this way. Let me put it in perspective. If you have, if you're stopping at 5 guns per day, but you're missing 95 out of 100, how do you tout that as a success? That's what it is. That's what a 95% failure rate is, people. Out of 100 weapons that try to get through the TSA screening, 5 are stopped. 95 get through. Still feel safe? It's not time for a revamping. It's time for getting rid, and then we're not going to get rid of the TSA once the government took over. We're not getting rid of it, but it's time. It really is time to get rid of it. We never should have had them in the first place. Really. The Senate approves sweeping reforms to NSA spying programs. Yeah, everybody's probably heard about this by now. The Senate, late Tuesday, sent legislation reforming the nation's surveillance laws to President Obama's desk days after a stalemate caused the National Security Agency's powers to lapse. The 67-32 vote for the USA Freedom Act came more than 36 hours after 3 parts of the Patriot Act expired, forcing the NSA to wind down its bulk collection of U.S. phone data. Now, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell suffered a political blow during the bruising fight over the legislation. He and other hawkish Republican senators opposed the bill even after the House approved it in a broad bipartisan vote. Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid lambasted McConnell for the lapse in Patriot Act provisions, arguing it would not have happened if the GOP leader hadn't spent so much time on trade legislation in the previous month. Well, adding further insult to McConnell's injury, all 3 of the amendments to the legislation he supported died on Tuesday. McConnell was also thwarted by Senator Rand Paul, a presidential candidate, and his erstwhile ally. And that's simply because, look, the people who were in on writing the original Patriot Act, the stuff the government is doing with it now was not in the act, and some of it is actually illegal. So now we have this USA Freedom Act. And, well, we'll see if the president signs it, but, you got bipartisan support in the House on the bill, so that means that there's probably something wrong with it. But, if a Democrat likes it, you should probably throw it away. Just saying, if a Democrat likes it, you should probably toss it. Yeah. Hey, if a Democrat likes your bread, you probably should change your recipe. Just saying. Just saying. It's the truth. Whenever I have learned over my short time on this planet that when Democrats really, really like something, you probably should think twice about liking it yourself. Really. Hey, if we could have probably said that about, the war on terror going to war in Afghanistan and Iraq. that a bunch of the liberal Democrats were all on board and they liked it. That probably should have been George W. Bush's call to action to say, hold on now. Something's not right here. I got all these Democrats who are liking this. There's got to be something wrong. Got to be something wrong. I know we can look back now and kind of try to laugh a little bit about such a tragedy, but seriously, look what has happened since then. You have all these Democrats saying, "Yeah, I was for it before I was against it," and knowing what we know now, would you still attack Iraq? We're getting all this crap about, how bad the decision was, and we had all of these Democrats who were supporting it. So again, I reiterate, if a Democrat really likes something, you probably better run the opposite direction. So I don't know if the Democrats are liking this USA Freedom Act. They know something that we don't, and they're going to put one over on the Republicans at some point. So I don't know. Hey, they like the Patriot Act too at one point. Now they're claiming that they don't, but never, ever, ever. I say never, ever, but ever trust a liberal Democrat. If they like something, you really need to go the other way. Don't doubt me. Just run away. Kind of like the rabbit. It's from Holy Grail. It's a bunny. It's a killer rabbit. And all the knights are falling left and right trying to fight this killer rabbit. And they end up saying, run away, run away, run away. So if a Democrat likes something, run away. Did you hear what the president said today? All right, there are people that have said that the president has some mental issues. I never would have gone that far, but other than, his own narcissism and, his desire to fundamentally change the country. But, I got to tell you, after hearing what this guy said today, I'm thinking he can't possibly believe what he says, because if he really believes it, he does have mental issues. I'm not being facetious about this at all, folks. I'm being serious as a heart attack here. If Obama says that, we are, under his tutelage, leadership, we're now, the most respected nation once again in the world. I mean, what? By whose standard? By whose measurement? Basically, he says, I've restored the U.S. as the most respected country in the world. But again, by whose standard? I can't. I wrote an article. And, people, you could read it over at rodeccles.net, or you could read it a number of different places now being published in different places. But, it's about using a hammer. The original title of it is Smash It with a Hammer. And some people are titling it, why I need a sledgehammer. And, it's about, I need an 8-pound sledgehammer to whack myself upside the head to put myself out of my misery. Because talking to liberals and listening to what they have to say, and I wrote this before this buffoonery came about the president saying, I've restored the U.S. as the most respected country in the world. Now, I am not prophetic. I've never claimed to be prophetic, and I don't believe in prophecy type of stuff like that. But I got to tell you, it couldn't have come at I seem to be hitting these articles and writing these articles at appropriate, the most apropos times. So basically, that the president believes that he's done it all, folks. Everything. That he's the guy. He's the one that's turned it around for the United States of America. That he and he alone have restored the faith and respect in the eyes of the world. Monday, while President Barack Obama was answering questions at a town hall with Yesili Fellows, YSEALI, an exchange program for community leaders from ASEAN, ASEAN, the Association for Southeast Asian Nations. Where do all these acronymic associations come from? And where do they get their money from? You know, I'm missing something. I'm going to start my own association and start soliciting donations or something. Yeah, I need to have my own foundation. Now, I promise that I will not garner any money from outside. Well, I probably won't get very rich then if I don't, go get foreign government money. But I won't get foreign government money. Well, I guess I can because I'm not in a position to influence government policy. So I guess I can get foreign government money if they want to give me some. I'm telling you, I'm going to start my own foundation. That's the way to go. That is the new American entrepreneurial business. The Clintons have shown us the way. But he said that his administration, the Obama administration, Obama said that has restored the United States as the most respected country on earth. Now, Obama said, people don't remember, but when I came into office, the United States in world opinion ranked below China and just barely above Russia. And today, once again, the United States is the most respected country on earth. Part of that, I think, is because of the work we did to re-engage the world and say we want to work with you as partners with mutual interest and mutual respect. It was on that basis we were able to end two wars end two wars, Mr. President. What two wars did you end? Oh, the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war? So what's going on in Iraq right now? What's going on in Afghanistan right now? Well, you didn't end anything. You just took us out of the equation. So now the terrorists, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and ISIS are running rampant. And you want to say that people out there believe that now we're now the most respected nation on the planet because we've given up? I guess if that's how you measure, respect and success is by you cutting and running and giving up, then yeah, I guess we've done a bang up job on that one under your tutelage and your administration. Can't deny that one. He's just he's so brilliant. He's more brilliant than he knows. The reasons why we are moving in the direction to normalize relations with Cuba and a nuclear deal that we're trying to negotiate with Iran. That is garnering us lots of respect around the world. Yeah, really. Alternate Earth again? Sliders? Must be. Well, that sound means I am out of time for today. That's right. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. Have a great night, everybody. See you back here tomorrow. I'm out.